Hello and welcome to Wearables Weekly, episode 38. How's everybody doing? I am Noble Ackerson, and from my left, I've got our usual gang, starting with Aaron Caston. Aaron, how you doing?
Woo! I am updating.
That's good. I'm guessing 17.1. Cecilia is
With two.
next, coming in from Sogi, Southern California.
Hi, everybody.
And then Keith Acorn's with us as usual.
Hey everyone.
Libby Chang.
Hi. I guess I should wave with this hand.
That's right. That's our usual. That's our usual gang. This week as well, we don't have a guest, but I think we're gonna have fun. It's gonna be a
Yes, we will next week. We have Jason and Alan coming on next
got
week.
special guests next week. That'll be awesome. And they've
Yeah,
got
sure.
a book. I can't wait to hear about how. I actually can't wait to co-interview someone who's written a book. I don't think I've ever done that before in my life.
I've written a book.
You have written a
Oh,
book.
there you go.
No,
Wait,
I haven't. I haven't written a book.
I'm gullible. I actually was gonna take.
I did technical review a book though.
Oh well, that doesn't count.
You're right, it doesn't.
I did an essay in high school, so
I wrote essays.
Yeah.
I got a B+ on one, I guess.
I wrote a story about bears with superpowers in elementary school. It was
Hey, Aaron,
amazing.
before we start our show, I know we're going to sort of derail into this. I just want to sort of bring up an ongoing issue about the beavers in your neighborhood with wearable computers. How are they doing?
You saw that. I got a good picture of one this time.
I saw that. That's why I wanted to bring it up, just so that we could just get it out of the way.
It was like this big. The huge beaver.
Oh.
I don't know.
It was
No,
a
it's probably.
it was a pretty large animal on his page.
And it was just carrying a branch in its mouth. It's like.
I think
What's
you're going to
up,
have to
dude?
show that picture. I think I missed that.
Hold on, I could probably screen share it. while I
Yeah.
find it.
I gotta say I was a little bit skeptical of this beavers in Texas thing, but I guess.
Oh, they're legit. That was the smaller one. There was actually a much larger one that was headed directly towards me, and so I was like, I took that picture. Like it's pretty blurry because I was moving. I took it and was like, all right, I'm moving along, guys.
Was that a
Sorry
glass
to
picture?
disturb you. No, it's too dark. It's like 5 o'clock in the morning, so
Okay, all right, that's awesome.
I'm getting out trying to get healthy and run. I hate it. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Oh, no.
I do.
It's fun with Links Fit.
It is.
I need to try it. So my glass has been. I haven't even been
that's
taking it on
right.
the runs anymore because it's just so amazing at how terrible it's working right now.
All right, well, let's
Sorry, I
get
found the beaver
show
picture.
on the
Sorry,
road.
it's longer than I anticipated.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's get the show on the road. You're listening to Mr. Aaron will be here all day.
But
So
it'll be awesome.
this week
Beaver.
we had about 100 explorers. Was it actually 100 explorers? But anyway, we had about 100 explorers on Friday, the 9th of May, at the Computer History Museum. It was a special event thrown by Google to sort of salute all the explorers to date. So 100
There
of you.
were more than 100. I would say it was closer to like 3.
No,
300.
not.
How come we were all in the stairs and Keith counted 94?
There were
Oh,
there were
seriously?
certainly
Wait.
over 90
Yeah, you're
glass, and then probably another dozen or so people that didn't bring their glass for whatever reason. So yeah, there's about 100 people that were there. But
Oh.
awesome turnout.
100, 300.
Still,
I'll have
it was the largest crowd with glass that I ever saw. I don't know you guys.
Sure.
Yeah.
Liv,
I'll
you've
have
never
to
won a guess how many marbles are in the jar contest, have you?
I have never won. I've never won the whatever prize. Usually it's jelly beans. I've
You're
never.
like, that looks like 10,000 jelly beans.
That's right. One of these days I will.
Yeah,
I think your overestimation was more an estimate of the quality of the explorers. We had a really awesome.
Exactly.
That's right.
It was.
I felt really great. Yeah, it's true. It's
I
true.
wish I could have been there.
So those who were there, I'm guessing 3 of us out of the hosts here were there. Can you tell us a little bit about the event?
Well, we still don't know what happened to the V1, the version ones. I was really hoping.
We know by Becca that they're safely stored.
Yes.
And not disassembled.
Wait. So wasn't the whole idea of the event was to see something cool with the V1
No, I
glass
think
unit?
that's more a misunderstanding of communication.
Well, the email did say we told you we'd do something cool with your glass units.
So
It did seem
originally,
that way.
that's what they had planned on doing, and then I guess they, in order to put this sculpture together, they had to disassemble some of the V1s. So Google told them no. So now we don't know what happened to them, or we don't know where they
So
are.
there's a sculpture.
There was no sculpture.
No,
right
it
now.
was never built because of what Livy's saying. They needed to build the sculpture. They decided they needed to strip them down, and Google decided they didn't want to do that at this point.
Looking at Keith's screen, hopefully, I don't know, Keith, if you can make it large
Can you
by
talk through it, Keith?
highlighting your.
Yep. Can I make it larger?
no, there you go.
Let's see.
Okay, yeah. As you talk,
Anyway, yeah. So I mean,
explain to
this
us
is
what
the
we're
group.
saying.
There's certainly 100 people here, but you might recognize a few familiar faces from everybody's pretty much in the Bay Area except Cecilia, who drove up. We've got a couple glass guys over here, Martin and Devi, Nick and Barbara, and just a whole bunch of people. I can't really go through everybody, but what were you asking?
Oh no, that's exactly what I just wanted it to sort of focus on your.
Oh, and another familiar face, Matt and his wife Amanda.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Cool. My partner.
Pretty cool.
My life.
Pretty cool. So all in all, successful event with a slight, a pinch of disappointment.
Well, yeah, they had a really cool video that a lot of some of the Stanford students put together, and where they interviewed, I think there was 4 glass explorers. I know Joe Stern was one of them, and a few others that I didn't recognize, but they had extremely
Christian
compelling
Assad.
stories.
Christian Assad was there a little bit
Oh, yes.
talking about.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I wouldn't say disappointment. I think, I mean, just think about 100 explorers together, novel, and just when you wrap your mind about that, that's a lot of fun just by itself.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome.
It was a fun event just because it was great to hang out with people. But
I have a theory. I think I know what happened to the old glass units.
They wouldn't turn on.
UC Irvine got them.
that's very possible.
That would be more useful than a sculpture, if you ask me.
I'm cool with that. I guess. I don't know. It'd be
Well,
cool
one
if
thing
they
that makes
just
me
said-
feel a little bit better about knowing that they were resistant to disassembling them was, I know a couple weeks ago there was this glass try-on thing, and I was really suspecting that those broken versions of glass that we're sending out were actually V1s. So I'm glad that it didn't turn out like that.
And then there have been, teardowns too. I think we might talk about those. The true cost of Google Glass. Don't worry, guys. This is Wearables Weekly, but we only focus on Google Glass because Google Glass. Anyway.
That's Google Glass.
There hasn't been much news on wearables this week. There will be, though. There will be coming up.
Don't worry,
towards the
I
end
put
of
a
the
nice
month, there's
Kickstarter
some
project
stuff.
out there just for Aaron.
Yeah, we always have to have the honorary Kickstarter product just for Aaron. All right, so
Sweet.
this week, let's sort of move into the news if you guys don't mind. Thanks for sort of briefing us on this event.
By the way.
I'm very jealous. I can't justify flying all the way to the West Coast just to go to an event, even with 100 of the finest people on Earth.
I wasn't there, Noble.
Oh well,
I was
99.
like 99. Yeah.
All right, let's move into the news. First and foremost is if you haven't been living under a rock, you probably already heard, the glass is now available for purchase to everyone. Explorer program has opened up just a little bit, but hey, my glass just took a picture for no reason. Opened up to $1,500 plus tax and a frame or shades. And it's available until we don't know. They run out or until people just don't buy it anymore at that price.
Did they specify whether they were trying to run out of stock or?
No. There's no information there. I'm gonna guess that it's indefinite, right? So.
They do say until they run out, or yeah, it's pretty much.
Yeah, but we don't know their inventory, and we demand that they provide that information.
They did imply that since that one day last month that they have been still manufacturing them, so they may just keep making them and keep selling them.
All right, let's get into this a little bit. I don't know what your opinions are. $1,500.
What are we talking about?
Explorer program, open beta, $1,500. What are your thoughts?
It's too expensive.
It is too expensive, especially for what it is now. It's kind of broken.
Worse.
Actually, that's something we should talk about. Like to sort of release these in the midst of fixing a lot of serious issues with glass that everybody's been having. In fact, I was kind of rubbing it in a couple of weeks ago that I hadn't been having any issues, but I started finally having some starting about a week ago. Sluggish and not responding to voice commands and stuff. So.
Yeah, it's been pretty bad. However, that's sort of, in a sense, what the whole Explorer program is. I remember talking about this a few episodes back about three categories of people that should get glass. I've always told people don't get glass unless you are super rich and have money to burn. You have to have the new stuff and the money to spend on it, or you're a business creative or a developer who has a plan on trying to reap some sort of benefit, by getting your $1,500 paid for 10 times over. So.
I think we discussed the $1,500 and all of that many times. So what I would like to interpret this is as far as how far away it puts the consumer release. So I think they're doing this still at this time for the same price and everything is pushing the consumer release to at least Christmas 2014, at least.
Interesting.
The implication that they're still manufacturing them does make me think that it's got to be pushed out a little bit. I don't know what that means, but I think
it's open, right? So isn't this just kind of like the Gmail beta public release? I mean, you don't need an invite anymore. This is a public release. It's anybody who wants to go buy it can buy it now.
Right, but it's still kind of in beta.
Well, is the product in beta? Yeah, I'd say it's practically an outlet.
So you pay more because it's still. You pay more because it's still kind of broken.
It should be the opposite, right? You pay less because it's a beta.
Right. It would be okay. Come on.
I have a theory around that. So Explorer Edition will always be $1,500, and I'm guessing there's going to be a full release version, which doesn't have the moniker of Explorer Edition. It might have Google Glass and that's
but they have said publicly, or at least Google Glass account has said publicly that it would be more than 400, less than 1,500.
Yes.
Right.
So, you're right. They did actually, for the first time, I think, acknowledge that it'd be less than 1,500, which I think we all expected, but still, it's nice to hear.
So
I've also heard rumors that it's not going to be released until 2015 now, the consumer edition.
That's making more sense now with this last move.
Yeah.
That would be disappointing, though. I think by then they wouldn't be like necessarily the only product in the market. They might have some competitors, and if not already available by 2015, at least around the corner.
Yeah, it's a very interesting move, given that you've got everyone who really wants glass may have already bought it, and frankly, everyone who's a holdout may have a reason and price may be the reason why they're a holdout. Especially thinking people who really wanted glass were running Indiegogo campaigns just to have glass. I mean, it is a very pricey product. So
I'd like to just mention one of the questions from Jeff Bond. It's how is glass supposed to become commercially viable? It can't be sold. Advertising is not allowed. The market is substantially limited, and there is no confirmation of a large-scale release from Google. I think it's
well,
the things.
Jeff, you sound just like a insert investor that Noble has spoken to within the last year.
Well, then you must have perfected your answer by now, so go for it.
There are definitely. This is answers for Jeff. There are definite ways to sort of get your product out there. You can sort of build your a platform around glass so that people are paying for the solution that you're offering or the problem that you're solving versus just a piece of glassware that they're um, that you're offering, right? Because the only business I see that is sort of very, very successful is an existing company. I think what's that e-commerce company on there? Can't even remember their name. I don't use their product. Fancy. The Fancy is one example where they just sort of navigate you to their existing platform, and I'm sure they
But
don't make any significant amount of money.
But the larger issue remains that until you have a market, even if you have a viable business model, you don't have a market. And that's really, I mean, it is a little bit of a problem for us developers.
Yeah, and there is no viable distribution model as well with glass, and we've heard that from some pretty surprising people who should know. But yeah, so if there's no way to distribute through the mass market because no one really has the device, and it's too expensive to get. You definitely have to be curing cancer with it before someone will pay any attention to it.
So for Jeff, the way we're mitigating this situation, which affects all of us developers because investors are, they don't see it so much, all those things, is by focusing on other wearables, hopefully coming up by the end of June, focusing on building early and saying, okay, this is the cost of being an early adopter and to being, an early mover and shaker, and that can give you revenue down the line. So it's a little bit of a little more short, long-term bet.
And for what me and Cecilia are working on, we are going to where people already are. So we're going to Chromecast. We're using glass in some capacity with your Chromecast experience. And even, obviously, if it's Chromecast, we're using a companion app on your Android device. So if you have a phone, hopefully phones are available on the market. So you can get that. So that's awesome. Let's, unless there are any other comments there, let's move on to the next topic.
I have nothing to add.
CNN. CNN brings citizen journalism to all through Google Glass, and it's certainly pretty interesting. iReport, which is a product by CNN, comes to Glass and turns everyone into, a journalist, right? So you're walking around and you see something interesting like a fire or, a fight or something like that, and you just sort of take a picture and send it to the CNN iReport contact, and hopefully you get some sort of confirmation as to, I haven't really sent anything. It's one of those things that I hope we will rarely have to use, but hopefully it comes in handy when you really need it. So I think it's awesome.
I think it's interesting. I think it's, to be honest, I feel like this is going to bring up a lot more privacy concerns than whether or not it's going to be useful.
Really?
Yeah, I kind of feel like it's one of those things that, if you see something and you send it to CNN,
CNN is not going to publish that.
That's true.
Drunk. They're going to publish real stories that people care for, and those are public stories. And that's there's already no privacy for public stories. Like even if there was a case of someone that fell in the middle of the street and got into a very bad situation, even being like, hurt and everything, and you become a public person at that moment, and you can do whatever they want with you.
As far as CNN only covering the important good stories, I'm guessing you haven't watched CNN in a while. But
yeah, I really disagree with that. I think there's going to be a lot more cat stories on CNN if this were really.
If that recent cat chasing a dog away had been on Glass, that would have been so much good coverage.
It would have been great coverage. Libby, so iReport has been around for years, and it's actually been super useful to them. It's been I'm surprised not a lot of other media outlets haven't sort of emulated this, where you have something like a tragedy like at Boston with the Boston bombing, or even a flash fire or something like that, or a flood, where you know anyone who remembers to, I never sort of, normally always too panicked to think about those kind of things. I'm like, I'm the first person out of there, but I'm not, I'm not built for that, citizen journalism stuff. But the whole idea is it's been around for a while, and it obviously does pretty well for them, enough to sort of bring it to everyone's faces.
It's totally brilliant. If you think about it, it's so brilliant because they are about to lose that terrain. There's not anymore the big media and the little guy in the street. It's who has the right video, and anybody can do that. So now they bring all those people, and now they're part of CNN for free.
Mentioning the business model of it, I'm curious what happens. Like, so when you're using this app, is it your video that you record and you share it with CNN?
Yeah. Okay. So the way iReport works is, you see something that is disrupting. The same way people use Twitter today is basically what iReport has been doing, even before Twitter. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe iReport has been around before even before Twitter, and it's always been some sort of thing happens, and you sort of take a picture or record a video of it, you submit it to them, and they curate it. They go through it, and if it's something serious enough, they actually release it on one of their online-only shows. Sometimes it makes its way to TV on their daytime shows, and if it's really, really serious, they can use and it happens on a lot of these types of events that happen on their, Wolf Blitz or primetime type shows, where they give you attribution and everything, and even call you through your system, because in order to be an iReporter, you have to provide a little bit of your information there. So,
well, the one thing that I was curious about in that regard was if it was being, say, recorded and immediately sent to CNN without being also stored in your glass. Does that mean CNN has like the rights to this video? Like, you couldn't also share it with some other news organization?
Oh yeah,
Twitter,
I mean, it's your content. They don't reserve any right to your stuff. I mean,
you wouldn't think so, but sometimes these licenses are written funny, so I was just curious.
Yeah, doesn't Facebook own everything you upload to Facebook or something?
Pretty much, or at least a license to share it with whoever they want to.
That's kind of like saying I took a picture and I posted it on Facebook, and then I posted it on Google Plus, and Facebook's going to come after me because it's somewhere hidden in their terms of services.
Well, no, but I think what Keith is trying to get to is depending on how the app is built. Because if you take a video and then you share it to iReport, that's no problem. But if you do it where it's their app and they send the video straight, you never get a hold of the media.
Yeah, it's actually just a simple mirror API.
There you go.
Thing.
That's the answer.
You actually record just like you would any. It's not a
GDPR. Share with them. Yeah.
And you just share that. You choose to share that content. I'm sorry, I misunderstood your.
Okay. In that case, yeah, I think it's a great idea, and I hope it works out well for them.
And it works the same way with their cell phone app, right? So you record it just like you normally would, and then you open their app. And in the case of the cell phone, it's a little bit more convoluted. But anyway, next, the lucky and talented students at UC Irvine School of Medicine get Glass. Google is issuing Google Glass to all of the UC Irvine students, and it is the first medical school to fully incorporate wearable tech into its curriculum. They're going to be using this for clinical studies, for the students' anatomy and hospital rotation, and starting this month, third or fourth year med students will sport 10 of these glass devices during surgery and emergency training situations. And this is going to be a really, really cool for telementoring, telemedicine use cases. What are your thoughts? I think it's pretty amazing that this is happening, and thanks to Google for giving this away. And hopefully it's not restricted to UC Irvine, right? I hope they open it up to other universities and medical institutions.
I think this is a test case. If it goes well at UC Irvine, I'm sure they'll look into. Well, that being said, I'm sure it wasn't cheap to give everybody in UC or all the medical students in UC Irvine a glass unit. So and there might be a cost issue there too. But
UC Irvine's students, their bills go up. Their
just incorporate it into the student fees.
yeah, student fees go skyrocketing.
By $1,500. I think that's how Wake Forest did it. I remember back in the day, they were one of the first universities to give every student a laptop, and all of a sudden the student fees went up by $2,000.
Nice.
So, yeah, I wonder where that came from.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Hopefully, a lot is, as you said, Libby, a very, very good point. It's a test cases with everything Google. They're going to see and study it, and it's going to be a pilot, and they're going to come back and hopefully internally share what the successes were and hopefully replicate it. That'd be awesome.
I'm so surprised in a way. I'm a little surprised that the doctors and medical and health is the one area that really loves glass above all. Like from all areas, is the area where they're excelling the most.
Which is very surprising, right?
It's very surprising.
They're normally always lagging behind.
I never expected, doctor, but it's amazing. They have all my respect of how they got this idea and how they are, all of them, because it's from all areas, doctors are loving wearables, loving them.
Cool.
It makes sense to the medical community, though. It really does. And I think in a lot of ways, wearables has been incorporated into medicine for a long time, just not mainstream wearables.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
There's always been some, weird headgear that doctors can wear while operating and things like that. But
they're always overly expensive, clunky, and hopefully that Google has sort of changed that trajectory and brought sort of inexpensive, relatively inexpensive.
Well, in the medical field, $1,500 is nothing.
Yeah, there was a story I remember a long time ago where I think the first time my doctor brought it into the operating room, and I think the closest equivalent commercially available piece of equipment was like $20,000, and it did like half the things the Google Glass would do. So, yeah, relatively cheap.
All right, next on the docket. So new Google Glass apps. So this morning, most of us woke up to some pretty travel-focused glassware. Super exciting. We've all been waiting ever since Glass came out. We've all been waiting for Foursquare. I don't care who you are, whether you use Foursquare or not. I know everyone has thought of how great it would be just to show up at a place and just say, okay, Glass, check me into coffee shop. And that's where we are today. Google Glass released Foursquare 4 Glass, which is a little confusing because Foursquare is dropping the check-in component from their feature set and spinning that out into its own. Anyway, that's a long story. We'll talk about that in a bit. They also released Open Table. Not sure how that's going to work. I haven't tried that yet. But TripIt is one of my favorite travel applications. Frankly, I never travel without TripIt. It's one of my go-tos. It's sort of been a lifesaver, even reminding me that my flight's going to be late and giving me alternate trips. I'm very, very excited to see, start actually using it when I travel on Glass. What do you guys think about these new Open Table TripIt combined with some of the Google Now features? Glass is now becoming the ultimate travel companion, right? Am I right?
It is one of the places where it excels.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe it won't display the wrong times like Google Now for flights does.
But Google Now is here. Like I have a flight tomorrow, and Google Now has it. But
are your flight times correct?
TripIt is not there. My flight time is good right now.
Do you activate the TripIt?
I enable TripIt, and I'm pretty sure my trip is in TripIt, but no trip in my Glass.
I haven't actually.
Well, maybe tomorrow it might change. I don't know how the glassware works. Frankly, I've never.
Make sure, yeah.
travel it. But let me know. Let us all know next week. Hopefully, if you're here, let us know how it goes. I don't think I have a flight for a while.
So just curious, since you do have some recent TripIt information, Cecilia, or well, if you haven't used the app, maybe that's not as useful. But I can definitely appreciate the idea that it gives you your flight information ahead of time. And I know TripIt, the app, does some kind of like boarding card stuff, which Glass probably wouldn't work for. But what other kind of stuff does TripIt do? Because I'm on the verge of wanting to maybe give it access to my Gmail. I haven't done it yet. But I want to be convinced. Like, what's
I can speak on that.
Novelia is more fun than me.
okay, cool.
Dude, I love TripIt. All right, that's all.
But seriously,
That's all I need.
on
Okay,
TripIt. I'm not impressed with their glass version because my TripIt is right there for tomorrow morning and it hasn't even. It should tell me today.
Well, Keith, TripIt basically does a few things very well, at least on their mobile app. Again, this is sort of new with the glass thing. If for any reason you have a delayed flight, TripIt does a really, really good job letting you know that your flight's being delayed and gives you alternative plans. And normally does this before, you find out over the PA system, or whatever. So it's actually helped me out quite a bit. It is, and then secondly, it is sort of the ultimate sort of trip planner, right? So with calendars, when you're planning a trip, you have email stuff, you've got, and a lot of these things Google Now is doing quite well lately. But before Google Now started doing that, you had to dig through emails to try to find itinerary information, go to your calendar and make sure you had everything there. Other receipts that you'd have, hotel information. It brings every single thing into one place, giving you depending on how much information you put, and I'll get into that a little bit. You can actually just glean that information from one simple interface. Regarding how you get information into TripIt is one of the biggest sells for me. I get an email. There are two ways to do it. You can actually have your TripIt always sort of searching your Gmail, which I've sort of turned off lately because sometimes I get trips from my wife that go into my TripIt, so it's a little confusing there. But you can just forward your emails to plans.tripit.com, and then forward your points. And whenever you get your receipts from your American Airlines or Virgin Elevate points, send that to rewards@tripit.com. If you've got timeshares, you can send that to those points to those receipts to TripIt, and it automatically logs all that stuff for you in one place. I'm guessing the glassware is going to be a lot more simpler when it works. It looks like Cecilia is not getting it to work, but it might work tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow. But
you're right. That's good. A good job of putting your hotel together with your trip all together when it was all separate. So those and sharing, like we share our TripIts, and it's pretty cool. So I know when.
Yeah. So if you have a team, you can actually have all that stuff. And I pay for TripIt. I love TripIt. I've used TripIt.
I don't pay.
Cool. I think I'll at least try the free version, and maybe if they convince me as well as they've convinced you, I'll pay for it too. Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, the pro version. The only sell for the pro version is that you get real-time flight updates and information. You can also do some stuff. I can't remember whether. So seat tracker, for example. If I book a flight, I can actually use the seat tracker to try to get me the best seat right there. So I can just.
Does it update you when someone's like canceled their ticket and a new seat's available?
Yeah. So it'll actually sort of alert you, and you can actually call the airline directly and say, "Hey, I'd like to switch my seat."
Cool.
Well, and then of course, one thing I do love about it, and this is sort of whimsical, at the end of the year. Let me share if you guys don't mind, since Keith, you bring this up. This is travel software, and it's glass related, so I guess I should share my screen here. So if you see my screen, my Hangout software may need to be reinstalled because every time I go to it. One nice little whimsical thing is that at the end of the year, you get a nice little set of stats, not just about you, but anyone that you follow on TripIt. It's like it tells you where in the world they are. Hopefully you see my screen. It also in real time it tells you who's where. You know, oh, you're going to be in Cancun next month, and guess what? Your buddy is over there. So sorry about putting people's information there, but hopefully I'm probably violating some sort of privacy stuff.
I gotta say, seeing this map of yours makes me very jealous. You've been traveling quite a lot this last year.
No, I actually haven't traveled a lot. When I used to work for my last startup, it would be a lot more travel. But this sort of gives you like everywhere you've been within the last year or two, and then I think this is just all my connections though, not. So.
All right, cool. Well, I'm sold. So thanks, Noble, and.
No problem. Anything else? Okay, of course, no one talked about Open Table. Does anyone know how that works? No. I haven't tried it yet. I
thought it was interesting is more like the one that tells you to check nearby. So you don't have to say, you can check for a particular restaurant, or you can do it nearby. Nearby sounds really cool.
Got it. That's the Field Trip app.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm guaranteed. So last year, right after I came back from the running of the Bulls thing in Pamplona, I wrote up a nice little, tips and tricks while traveling, and it's on the internet somewhere. Also on the Google Glass community page, the official community page, and frankly. Glass has a potential of being sort of one of the best travel companions. You imagine just running through the airport with, with your luggage and your carry-on, your hands are full, you're panicked. Having all that information right within your field of view is perfect. So, I guess...
boarding alarms would be nice. You could do all sorts of cool stuff.
What'd you say?
So like if you're sitting in the airport playing on your phone, you get like a little alarm that your plane is boarding or something.
Yep. That would be perfect.
And that's another thing perfect. Hopefully they bring that to the Glass software or whatever.
Yeah. It'd be nice with the Open Table is if they could, if you make a reservation at a restaurant, have it keep like your order number or something like that, so you can see like your 3, 2, 1.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
That'd be cool too.
That'd be awesome. So see, these are they did bump links fit from the
I saw that
from the featured app listing. We're still in there. Oh, thank you, Google, for not kicking us out of the featured from the whole list. But from the My Glass store, but we're still in there. It's honorable to get kicked out by the likes.
Hey, yeah, we didn't get featured, buddy. So
that's right.
So that you got featured.
I'm happy that I'm still listed in the My Glass store. How about that?
Me too.
All right. LG's LifeBand Touch and heart rate earphones coming May 18th.
Nothing new.
These look really awesome. They look like the usual wrist-worn fitness bands, a little thinner, a little reminiscent of the Samsung version, but it has a little bit of a, I don't know how you describe it. It has a little bit of a gap to make it easier to take off versus sort of buckling it off. But yeah, it has heart rate earphones, and there's going to be another article about earphones. Hopefully, I think I might have pasted it in there. I shared another one on there, but a super innovative piece of technology that sort of tracks your heart rate just by having earbuds in. Awesome. And that's going to be at $180, which is pretty reasonable for what it's doing. Hopefully it works well.
Yeah, that would be key. And you can only get them on May 18th at Best Buy.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll be picking one up with money I don't have, just because I'm very intrigued by the technology just to see how well
I'm curious about the heart rate in your earbud. I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping that does well.
So what else are they going to do with the earbuds? Just that?
Well, it actually says O2 monitoring as well, which is very curious because I don't know how they're actually measuring this, but
probably on the wrist. So it's probably going to be.
This is the earbuds as well.
Oh, through the earbud. Oh, that would be interesting.
We have to get
the LifeBand itself, which is the wrist-worn device, which may render itself useless if you have this heart rate monitor in your ear.
Well, or if you have a smartwatch. Hello.
Well, that's true. But yeah, LifeBand device itself is going to be $150. It's activated by turning your wrist. Who wrote that? And tell me a little bit more about it. Who knows a lot more about this than I do? Because I didn't know that.
So I know the gear, Cecilia, your gear is activated by turning on.
That's my favorite feature, actually, because you do these and boom, there it is.
The basis is sort of the same. I don't know if you can see the light come on when I do that, but it'll.
So you have to sort of jerk your
I'm kind of trying to face the camera, but yeah, same sort
What's really funny about this is that I like it's in the past we wanted things to be on all the time, but now we got so used for our phones to be off, to everything has to be off. So you kind of love it that it's going to go to sleep. That's a good thing. And then the moment you need it, boom, it's there.
Cecilia, I'm really curious. Like, what's the battery life you're getting because of all of this like power saving stuff?
So I have this little thing here on my desk, and every 2 or 3 days I'm plugging it in here while I'm on my desk. And that's my routine. Like I always have it when I'm sleeping because I love the tracking.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever run it down to where it's completely dead?
I never did, honestly, because you have enough like you have an entire day and a half or day when you're at 30% to bottom. It gives you a lot of time, really. I mean, I usually will sit on my desk for hours once every 3 days.
Cool. Yeah, I've been happy about the basis for the same reason. It gets several days of battery life. And, we're going to have to do like a head-to-head sort of a thing because I'm very curious to see what you're getting. You said yours says sleep tracking also?
Yeah, sleep tracking it seems to be more basic than what I was getting at the Jawbone, for instance, but it's much more comfortable than the Jawbone. I have to totally say that. Because Jawbone was bothering me on the keyboard and when I was sleeping. Secondly, it seems like the Jawbone is faking it because really all they can track is movement, right? So at least the gear gives it as it is. It tells you had 84% note movement, for instance, okay? And that's really what it is. The whole thing about are you an REM, are you in deep sleep, are you in light sleep? I mean, nobody knows how accurate that is. So I'm liking it.
Does Samsung presume to tell you that, or were you referring to something else?
She thinks it's a lot more basic than that.
Samsung it's doing a good job. I'd like more of sleep details, but I think it's good. I like it.
I think it'd be interesting if you tried the basis.
Yeah, we should switch when we are at I/O.
That'd be fun, actually. Yeah.
For 2 days, we switch and then we see what.
But then Keith, you'd have to take Cecilia's phone.
Oh. Why?
Sure. Oh. Yeah, I mean, they're not exactly comparable devices. I mean, definitely the basis.
We can switch Sims too on the phone.
The basis is 100% fitness tracker stuff and sleep tracker. So, I mean, it's losing some of the more interesting features of the Samsung as far as smartwatch type stuff, but and it's a little more advanced for sleep tracking. But
and it doesn't have a shiny screen. It has to be said.
Yeah, it's due for an upgrade. I think it could use a little slim down too, it's a little thing. But thanks for bringing yours up to the event last week because it was very comfortable.
Yeah, it was surprisingly light. I was really expecting something more clunky.
Yeah, no. So you forget you have it pretty much like glass. You forget.
Cool.
Well, that's awesome. I'm still stuck on my Fitbit. They sent me a free Fitbit when I completely lost my other Fitbit, so. I think Fitbit's faking it as well in a lot of things, but just the fact that they don't automatically go into sleep mode and I have to do a little magical touch combination.
You have it on your wrist, the Force or the Flex?
I've got the first one, not the one with the...
But no, but that's true to all the devices out there. Or does the basis do it automatically for sleep?
Oh, automatically for sleep.
Oh, okay. So basis is the only exception.
Yeah, it's a little embarrassing, but like every once in a while, like I'll maybe fall asleep on the couch, and it's funny because I'll see myself go to sleep, have an interruption where I'm like walking to the bedroom, and then go back to sleep. It's free.
That is
But hey, quick tip for the Fitbit, since you were mentioning it, Noble. And maybe I'm the last one to know. I don't know. But if 3 times in a row I went down to the gym and used a treadmill and forgot to bring my Fitbit because I changed into some shorts and didn't bring it.
Right.
And apparently you can add that afterwards. If you tell how many miles you go, it'll just add that number of steps.
Yeah, who wants to do that? It's like telling me I got to put in my meal and how much water intake.
Some people don't do that.
It's not ideal.
Yeah.
First couple times when I was down at the gym, like walking, I'm like, this isn't even counting for my score. This sucks. Like this is.
Yeah, I did that for the first couple months. I've had a Fitbit, different kinds of Fitbits, but this is not my first Fitbit. I've had Fitbits for a while, and when I first got them, I was all about it. I basically utilized every single 4 corners of that app. Up till now, I barely even. This thing is probably dead right now, for all I know. Yep, the battery's completely gone. So I have no idea. I've not been logging it. So it's very. If there was only an app out there that could say put an NFC tag on top of the water bottle, so I can automatically sort of tap it to my phone and it automatically logged it, that'd be great. I believe there's a lady named Cecilia who built something like that at one point. So anyway, move on to the next one. Anyway, LG is awesome, and hopefully, you get VO2 Max as well, which, if anyone knows what that is, that's awesome for athletes. Okay.
Oh, you know what? Actually, maybe you should tell me that, because that's what I was counting as the O2, as the oxygen. Is that what that is?
Yeah, so it's basically your oxygen intake while you're sort of doing a lot of high cardio stuff, like running. A lot of like Ironman competition type watches, like the high level Garmin's, sort of collect that kind of information. So, how much exertion you're taking, what type of oxygen that's going in based on your heart rate, and that sort of calculates into your VO2 max.
Cool. Thanks.
All right.
Before we go to the next one, can I just link a product in here, and then we can just say, okay, we don't even need to mention that next product?
Go ahead.
There's something called the Look-See. Anybody heard of it?
No.
All right, here, I'm going to link it for you.
Link it.
On version 3. They've been around forever. It's a little camera that fits on your ear like a Bluetooth device, and you can use it to pretty much record your entire life. It gets
all right.
all the battery life.
Right.
It's a little like the narrative, except I think the narrative.
Narrative does. No, the narrative does a picture every 30 seconds and
right.
Sound.
Right.
I assume this video should do sound, which is much.
So these things have been around for a while. It looks like I know some law enforcement and some first responders have been using this for a while, at least sort of mounted into their headgear. Some corporate, like a lot of engineers have these kind of things as well. But life logging is becoming a thing, right? People are completely frightened by it. They think their liberties and their privacy is going to be completely tarnished. Yet, we see more and more of these on the market. Within the last week, I've seen this Kickstarter project that called the Life Logger, I think it's simply called, which sort of logs, basically does exactly what it is. It basically records any and everything at all times, just to a sort of insight as to how your day went, or if you have some sort of ailment, you can actually sort of jog your memory as to what part of the recipe, where you were when you heard that one song, type things. There's also in that same category, and I won't get too far into it. I just last minute posted something that Mike Elgin posted a couple days ago about a life logging purse as well. So I'm just going to band all these things together and ask, what do you guys think about this category? Is it going to fly? Is the outrage of Google Glass going to sort of tarnish it? The world has changed a little bit post-Snowden. We're in the post-Snowden era, and people are sort of valuing their privacy a little bit more. What do you guys think?
So I guess my completely objective opinion is that I want to have this, but I don't want anybody else to have it. So
Perfect summary of how people feel about it. Actually, David Brin, I don't know if you know him, he's science fiction author and talks about transparency and reciprocal accountability. And he made a graph exactly what you said. Like, people want others to hear, not them to see. It's very funny.
I'm going to take a quick break and answer a question. So Paolo Edson asked, what do you guys think about ohm signal? Please watch episode 37, last week's episode. I think I went bananas on the ohm signal.
Yeah, I think it's agreed. We all really like it, and we're all super excited about it.
Yeah, and Cecilia, you should watch that episode.
I actually saw a competitor of them that I think they're called Skin something and Exoskin, and they're very good too.
We saw them in New York and
they were also the Wearables Tech in LA. So yeah.
So yep. All right. Sony patents HUD, heads-up display. Prior art, anyone?
Well, I gotta say, I think
it doesn't matter. It looks ridiculous. It's never nothing.
I think you shared something. And I don't know if it was just with us or on the show, Noble, but something called the what was it? Hat phone or something?
Yes, the hat.
That was me.
This is basically the hat.
I shared it, but that was that.
It is. Yeah, that was Aaron. I remember. It's like it was like a trucker hat with a smartphone on the bill. It was ridiculous.
Well, apparently they can't build that because it's patented by Sony. So.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Well,
pretty much.
So it's not just restricted to this weird sort of form factor. It also has sort of if you look at Figure 5A and the Fandroid article, it actually has sort of regular eyeglass, which sort of use cases as well, which is covered, which makes the likes of Epson and their Movero device a little bit suspect as to whether they're infringing on anyone. But it does look pretty ridiculous, and the fact that they were granted the patent application seems pretty.
Does anybody know when this was granted?
It was recent. It was recent. It was like
that means they've been sitting on that pending for a long time.
For a few years, yeah.
Yep.
I know the patents are super backed up right now.
Yep.
Well, I think we all have a little bit of experience with like the patent process and how messed up it is and how much it gets approved. But just to sort of just exemplify exactly how bad it is, didn't Amazon just get a patent for like photographing stuff on a white background like about a week ago?
Yeah, we talked about that.
So, yeah.
I did not know that, but I'm not surprised. The level of surprise in that.
Yeah, I think they patented. It's like a method for photographing images with no background
On a seamless white background. So apparently they've never seen an Apple ad.
Yeah.
Basically what
or any product image in the history of ever. I mean.
All right, so this next story really gets me, wondering what's going on here. Apparently, and I love for you guys to sort of weigh in here.
What?
There's a new wearable from Stark Industries, and it's not a Iron Man suit. Oh wait, yes it is. Who is this? Some sort of a joke or?
Wait, are we talking?
Yeah. This is just someone's personal project. It'd be awesome if it was at the Maker Faire or something. But let me see if I can.
Oh, it'd be awesome if it was a.
This is like seriously.
What's great about this article, if you guys sort of check this out on Gizmodo, is the fact that you can actually build your own on Instructables.
Hey Keith, now that you mentioned the Maker Fairs, one of our audience were asking the question about if anybody's going, what's going to happen, stuff like that. Maker Fair.
Yeah, so there's actually we'll mention it at the end of the show, but there's going to be a glass meetup from SoGIF. So I think at least about 15 people have committed to going, but we're going to have a meetup, just sort of wander around the fairgrounds, and they have different sections. If you're in the Bay Area, like San Mateo is where this is being held at, and this is by far the biggest Maker Faire. If you've been to any mini Maker Fairs or whatever, imagine like that, just blown up to an enormous size. So they're very, very large. It's very large, and they have just all these cool projects. So we're going to have a meetup on Saturday from 12 to 4. And if you want to show before or after, like, it'd be awesome if you want to hang around, then we can check the whole thing out.
All right. So the last story I'm going to talk about, then we can just sort of choose to sort of wrap this up or talk about some sort of oddball stories, is Glass 17.1. Has everyone on this panel got 17.1 yet?
No.
I think I just got 17.2.
It has been, what?
You're ahead of us.
You did?
Let me see.
Mhm.
No. Okay, apparently I got a second 17.1 update because I was already on 17.1.
It probably
and then
got
I got another update. So
Yeah, that happened to me before.
I got a second.
You got to be
17.
careful with those because then you might
Break.
your phone. Excuse me. Sorry. I should have muted.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty much. Well, actually, it actually seems to be running okay right now.
Yeah, mine's pretty snappy. I had an issue last week with 17.0.
So I'm still getting boot loops. I went walking my dog this evening, and I had another healthy bowl of boot loops when I unplugged my Glass from the. Oh, it's been very, very. I mean, it's been very, very annoying. Especially trying to run a startup.
Taking pictures, it's still a little dirty.
Data hardware. And doing events and stuff like that has been very, very frustrating. But it's what we paid for, right?
So we paid for to be in the beta program.
That's the life, the struggle.
Mine is behaving pretty well, my new Glass, though.
Yeah, you just jinxed it.
Yeah, I know. I was going to cross my fingers.
All right, the only other story out of this, you guys can pick whichever oddball stories you guys want to talk about. The only one that sort of comes to mind is Sony's little Project Morpheus, technically wearable. It's this sort of VR, Oculus-style, fully immersive headset for PlayStation 4. And it's a super awesome name, Project Morpheus. I don't know why I love that name so much, but it's a VR headset. And we've got a few indie developers already using the project. Hopefully the guys at Minecraft is one of them, since they pulled out of the Oculus program. Any thoughts about this? Any excitement? Are you team Xbox or are you team PlayStation? Would you get Project Morpheus for your face?
Well, you gotta give these guys a chance because they've been doing games for the longest, and they're right here in San Diego. Besides being in Japan, obviously, but in the U.S. they're right here, and I know a bunch of people that work there, and they've been doing this forever. And you really have to give them I would give them a chance at least to. I'm listening, let's say. Because this is what they know how to do. They know how to grab proprietary hardware and make, a platform. So
one can argue with that and say when Xbox came out with the Kinect with the regular Xbox 360, and they released their the ping pong ball thingies. I don't even know what they're called. Those motion sticks. That bombed pretty badly. Was that maybe because they didn't do what they're doing now, which is sort of reaching out to indie developers, which sort of brings us back full circle.
But also that's like a different league. Like Microsoft has this huge amount of R&D, and
Right.
I think Sony is much more focused on doing that gaming console. So, but doing an Oculus Rift equivalent is more like gaming console in the end. It's similar to what they're doing.
I think the promise of this device is that it'll definitely get out to a wider selection of people than Oculus. And if these mock-ups are to be believed, I mean, it looks very impressive. So hopefully just having a platform that game developers that are already doing 3D immersive games can port to would be beneficial for a wider audience.
And competition would be perfect. Like if it's only Oculus Rift, I mean, they'll move fast, but a competition is good, so it's a good thing.
That's good. Mark Zuckerberg has something up his sleeves, at least with the Rift. I don't know what it is. I don't know whether you guys have ever read Ready Player One. That's sort of my vision of where things are going. But yes. Any other stories? The other stories, the remaining stories are just NASA's little Tron-like spacesuits. If anybody wants to take that, hyper-realistic virtual. Oh wait, that's sort of similar to what we're talking about. An Oculus Rift game. And then wearable. No, that's it.
Yeah, some of these are just left over from last week, I think.
Oh, they are.
Unless you're just surfing, and there's an awesome surfing one, a surfing smartwatch. But other than that,
If there's nothing, no takers. Any questions from the crowd? Have you discussed about the new version of the glass display supplier? Says Google's working on a new version. That's news to me. Anybody know about that story? The optics supplier or the OEM is rumoring things.
I'm not seeing the question, but I'm having a hard time understanding how there could be a new supplier for the Prism. I mean, it's pretty.
That question just disappeared.
Well, I mean, it's possible to have a new supplier. I mean, that would make sense. Maybe they're trying to fix the bubbling issue.
Maybe.
That is a big issue that is not resolved. According to some people, they still have the problem.
I talked to somebody today who had it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's wrap this up, go into events. As we talked about, the Maker Faire, the massive Maker Faire is happening on the 17th next week of this next week, right? And hopefully if you are in and around the West Coast area, general area, I have no idea where it is, show up. There's going to be fun glass, gadgets, and makers.
Yeah, and in case, I mean, you're not familiar at all with the maker movement, but, you know, basically this thing's going to have a lot of robots, a lot of 3D printed stuff, a lot of interesting, like, electronics embedded in fabrics. They have, like, a real-life battleship game where, like, these little ships have cannons on them, you're shooting each other down. And there's, like, all kinds of interesting little projects, and even if you don't want to come out for this meetup, I mean, just check it out. It's really, really incredible.
Q. So Jeff Barn, that was your answer to your question. We're all about the Maker Faire. Glass heads to Hershey, Pennsylvania. It's going to be like a Willy Wonka glass trip. And I've been to Hershey's once before in high school. I did not once enjoy that trip. It was the worst place. But I know it's going to be different because we've got a bunch of glassronauts that are going to be awesome. I like that term. I learned that term from Jason Howe. I love that term. Glassronauts. Everyone's a glassronaut.
That's very cool.
And you get to eat a lot of chocolate, hopefully, for very expensive prices, even though the place is called Hershey Park. And I'm ashamed I'm not going to be there because I'm on the East Coast and it's only a few miles away. But have fun without me. I'm jealous. Not really. Bike across San Francisco. San Francisco explorers have all the fun.
We do.
I was like, hey, I'm going to be in San Francisco. Let's do some things. And they're like, no, other people are already doing all these other things.
Yeah.
Trust me, Aaron. You can come out and enjoy them and not have to worry about planning them. It's awesome.
Right.
So this biking trip is going to be a lot of fun. So there's a lot of places to rent bikes along the San Francisco Bay waterfront. And we're going to bike across the bridge over to Sausalito, which is about 8 miles on bike. It's not that far. But you get these amazing views of the bay, of the city. It's really cool. And if you're in the Bay Area on Labor Day weekend, check it out. It's really fun.
By the way, breaking news. Ivy Ross. I don't know who that is, but some lady named Ivy Ross is joining the Google Glass team to head the glass team. She spent her career doing Calvin Klein, working with Calvin Klein, Swatch, Coach, Mattel, some weird fancy name that I can't pronounce, Gap, and most recently Art.com. And this, I think, is sort of comforting to know that they are taking glass to a completely different level as far as style and addressing the weird, quote unquote, weirdness, subjective weirdness that people have sort of brought up. So yes, we've got breaking news. I've always wanted to say breaking news while I'm doing a host show. We've got a new fearless leader.
She's the head of glass. She is going to be head of glass.
That's what I think.
Who was the head of class until now?
Sergey.
That's a really good question. Oh yeah, I guess Sergey
Well, do
was.
you mean the head, or like because there's different groups within glasses?
Right, they have so many
Business League, there's
groups.
like
Babak was the
there's
head, maybe?
somebody that left recently that went over to Oculus, I think, like within the last week.
Oh, not Matt Baez.
Was it Babak?
No, it was not a. He was just an engineer. Oh, I know who you're talking about. The name slips my mind. I follow. We.
Adrian Wong. Yeah.
No. I know who you're talking about, but.
No, I was reading the article.
Well, yeah, I guess it's very, very hard to. Oh, you are reading the article. Maybe I should.
Maybe I just recognize him because I'm following him on Google Plus. But there's obviously a lot of people involved. So.
Yeah, but it just says a letter to our glass explorers from the head of glass, and she signs it, her name. So I'm guessing she's the head of glass.
Very well.
Wow, and
I'm curious. I'm seeing this picture that Libby posted a few minutes ago. Sorry, and I'm noticing the watch on her wrist is very unusual. It's not any kind of sneak peek. It's like a wooden watch.
And then my stream was all one person. That's my Google Plus feed right now.
Wait, what?
I'm screen sharing what my Google Plus feed looks like right now.
Every person is talking about it
Yeah.
all at once.
Everybody's getting brownie points.
Well, thank you, Glass Team. I know you guys did this on times, right around this time, just because you wanted us to talk about it on our show. Congratulations. I gave you the attention you seeked. We'll find out a little bit more about this. I don't really know. I should probably read this a little bit more. But as I was saying before I interrupted, San Francisco has all the fun. They're going to be biking across the Golden Gate Bridge, something I've always wanted to do, and someday might do. But
I was thinking about doing something like that Saturday I mentioned, Keith. But apparently now everybody will have done that as well.
Keith,
I don't. No. Everybody should keep a close eye on Aaron's feed for Google I/O Week because there's a lot of very interesting projects.
Hey, I'm just gonna say this is what I'm doing. If people want to show up, I don't really care. Heather said she didn't want all you guys hanging around us anyways. So.
Well, you know what, Aaron? I suggest you build yourself a San Francisco bridge, a Golden Gate Bridge. And in Dallas, and maybe people will come out to Dallas.
We have a bridge.
Isn't like London Bridge in Arizona or something?
There's a bridge here. We have a bridge.
You've got a bridge. Go like pedal over it or something.
Yeah.
All right, go play in traffic, Aaron. I have better eyesight than you do.
No, you don't.
Augmented World Expo. Jesus, I turned British for a second. Augmented World Expo happening 27th through the 29th of May. And our Honorable Cecilia is going to be on a panel, rocking your brains, given all the knowledge.
I'm going to be in 2 panels, and it's going to be all on the 29th, actually. I'm not going to be there the days before. But Keith and Libby, are you guys going?
What day is the 29th? Is that Thursday?
Well, thanks to
Yes.
you, Cecilia. I think you got us in as press.
Yes.
They have a nice expo. I mean, I definitely recommend you go and spend 3-4 hours on the expo. That's where I tried all the incredibly funky-looking glasses that I use when I say glass is the first wearable device that is wearable.
Right.
Oh, yes. And I have an appointment with Epson, the Epson Smart Glass. So I will be sharing that with everybody. The Movero. Yes. I don't know if I'm saying it right. The Movero.
It's nothing special.
Yeah.
Well, they
but I get to
versions.
try them on, so I'm
There's
pretty
been a
excited about that.
Yeah, I think we've gotten a few emails as far as.
Several
I
years
already
ago.
got a development request for Movero, and I tried to push glass, and they're like, no, we want the more pure Android version, blah blah blah. And
I don't like that you have the little you have to have the attachment.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
It's got like a trackpad on
It doesn't live without that.
Yeah.
Now you need the trackpad in order to try.
I have the trackpad. All the brains are in the box.
The most important bit about this is that we're listed in the. You guys need to vote for us. So go find the poll that has LinksFit in it, and vote for us as one of the top. Augmented wearable. It's not really augmented, but just vote for us. Don't ask any questions. Just vote. LinksFit, Augmented World Expo. Look for where they're voting for stuff, and look for LinksFit, and then click the button. last but not least, and then I can put you guys all out of your misery. Google Glass Office Hours and Design Sprint in DC, in the capital region. We have Jenny Murphy coming down. Got the fine folks at the GDG DC organizing. We're going to be graced by the Google Glass developer expert himself, Mr. Alan Furstenberg is going to be in his house. And this is sort of being billed as a breaking glass light, but it's not really a hackathon, it's just a design sprint. So definitely stop by. It's going to be office hours after the design sprint, and hopefully you guys come and show your support. There'll be punch and pie. Google is sponsoring it. That'll be awesome.
Nice.
Man, how do you get Google? Never mind. I'm not saying anything.
I don't know, man. I don't know, dude. I built my own bridge in DC, and then I pedaled over it.
In other news, barbecue tickets are for sale now.
Yes, Big Android Barbecue. If you guys didn't get into I/O, even if you did get into I/O and you want to really, really experience the best conference for under $100, not including hotel costs, but it's super.
Yes, Big Android Barbecue is the
Pretty
biggest
much the only
geek
conference
party.
under $100.
I think you are. So.
It is the biggest geek party of the year. That is
But it's
pretty
more
awesome.
than that. See, so it's funny. I just had this conversation with the team, and we've got to change our perception. We are not an enthusiast conference. Well, okay, we are an enthusiast conference, but we are way more.
Which is
than
it?
We are an enthusiast conference, but a lot more than that. We are a developer, enthusiast, biz dev. We cover everything.
So you're not just
related,
an enthusiast
if it
conference.
touches Android, we deal with it. Glass touches Android. iPhones touch Android in their own special way, and so we even have, we welcome iPhone users. People ask all the time, "Oh, I have an iPhone. Is it okay if I come?" Yes, please come. You're welcome. We will serve you barbecue and give you beer and teach you all sorts of awesome things.
So Keith and I already
by the
have
time you
tickets.
leave,
and
you'll
we
have-
will be there.
Yeah,
Barbecue
so
for everybody.
if it's any indication, everybody on this panel was there last year. It was
Except
awesome.
Noble.
Cecilia
Cecilia
was
wasn't there. Cecilia wasn't
I
there.
wasn't there. I was in Uruguay.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But you'll be there this year, right?
I hope. Yes, yes.
Yes, it's very
I
very.
want to be there.
And we were definitely talking before this
Cecilia speaking.
about what a steal this is, because I mean, even Google I/O, it's like a 2-day conference. It costs $900. Like you can go to Big Android Barbecue 3 days with food, like with the barbecue food anyway, and awesome just hanging out with all your friends for $75.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Super awesome.
Right. Hey, for the first week, tickets are only $55. Every ticket is $20 off. So.
And
What
with
other
that,
event does
I would
that?
like to officially close the show.
Yeah, close.
Thank you guys for joining us. Next week, same time, same subject, with a guest, some of the best.
With two guests. We have two guests.
Two guests, some of the most influential explorers in the community. They literally wrote the book about developing for glass. So definitely tune in to a special episode of Wearables Weekly. Thank you for tuning in.
Maybe I can get them to speak.
Bye.
Bye-bye.